tell you
Yes.
that when you were mentioning that, the beings of light showed me the picture that you were one of the angelic beings who were helping early humans. So you actually had your wings. And then that particular realm, they actually had they they didn't really interact on a regular basis. They were both kind of doing their own mission, so to speak, but they knew about each other because they were in the same area, and then they would also the those and those Seth calls them like the precursors of angels, I believe, that they were winged beings who helped early humans, and that's how they got that connotation about angels. So that's what came to me.
Thank you. I will ponder upon that a little more in my own free
Yeah, I
time.
thought it was very interesting.
But I'm very connected to birds, and I'm also very connected to anything that's inside in the water. I've been watching some of these 8K quality, supposedly uh, uh, marine life videos that you can find on YouTube,
Hmm.
and I am just fascinated by
Yeah.
all these creatures that are there. I mean, it's just amazing.
And as most of you probably know, as part of my beings of light process, I invite in several beings, a whole litany, like a dozen or more different categories. And the third group that I bring in is the hybrid children. And when I invited them in, they were all over me. They're like, "Oh, teacher wouldn't, they didn't let us know that you were calling us before and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Look, I can come back and get you, but I'm doing this right now." "Okay, okay, but we really want to play. And can we say hi? Can we say hi? Hey, hey, yeah, no, we can do this. We can do this. We can just come in real fast. We can just," and I'm like, "No, I'll come back." And they said, "Don't forget about us. Don't forget it." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh," I was just cracking up because they were so effing cute. And then I'm like, fine, I can't resist. Go ahead, come on through. And because when I got to the next part in my process, I'm cracking up. And then I got through that. When I went to the next one, I'm like, screw it. Go ahead, say what you're going to say. They're still here. Oh my gosh, lots of big goosebumps. I love
Good.
them. I
I
love
think that we're kind of back, and we are ready to go for the second session of tonight.
them. Yay, Brother
Uh,
Francis.
and for that, we welcome Brother Francis once again. We have been doing this with Brother Francis now several times. And what can we say about Brother Francis?
He's a
Direct,
blessing.
immediate, fast, from one channel to another. I don't want you put you on the spot. Ray mentioned 10. It's whatever
Well,
comes through for you. Okay. But since the last time we talked, I mean,
it was seven
you
the
had,
last time.
yeah, you had Balu that showed up
Yeah,
unexpectedly in
yeah.
our sessions. And I know you have been working more with Balu, and there may be some other ones, but whatever comes in, we more than welcome it. Uh, and I am going to give you the floor, and this is all yours. We're in your space.
It is I, Mother Grace. I feel so elated that you have invited my son. Um, I've been telling him for such a long time since he was in me that this is his journey. And I was told that this is his journey, but he must let it come to him and not chase it. He's done a pretty good job not chasing it for the past 30 years. Just let it, bring him into being. What I have to say to all of you this evening is that as time goes on in this quote unquote simulated earthly plane, that you delve as deep as you can into yourself. And as you do that, I'm going to share something from the old USA Southern style, Georgia style. Every now and then, fast. Fast from your cell phones. In my day, we didn't have those things. Fast from uh, your laptop or computer or your TV set. I'm being told to tell you to spend as much time building layer by layer in silence. Because when you are in the moment or the corridor of silence, you actually learn a great deal about how your brain spits out data. And as you know, there's millions upon millions of bits of data that there's so much you'd like to entertain, but I suggest you just let it come in and go out. Like it's coming in the front door, let it out the back, so I let it out through the windows. Don't try to hold on to it because many of those thoughts that are lingering around that are like darts sticking on your aura don't even belong to you. They belong to other people. And we have said from some time ago, many people are having difficulty controlling their thoughts. They think they're holding the thoughts to themselves, but they're actually throwing darts at you because it's your energy that is expanding and is causing them to dissolve the so-called negativity about you. And you're just expanding, you're a ball of fire expanding. And so I want you to realize is that you do not have to take on other people's thoughts or feelings. Do not do that. Everyone has their own field to walk in, their own path to walk in. Occasionally, you will be there to support. So you are really come into this form of being like an anchor. That is what he's doing. He's being an anchor. But being an anchor is not an easy thing to do. You have to learn how to be an anchor without judgment. You just sit and watch, and occasionally you will be directed by other sources. You've heard this evening about birds. Insects will come by and say, okay, 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 here's a thought coming your way. I'm going to intercept it so that you can stay centered. We need you as an anchor, if you're called to do it, to stay anchored. Have no judgment at all. Just sit in silence. As you sit in silence, your light will come up like a fountain. And sometimes you'll see it shift around you. You'll see signs in your own auric field that your energy is elevating. So do it joyfully. You might say, well, how do I become an anchor? Well, the secret and no secret is you asked to be an anchor billions of years ago. And some of you might say, why do I always get to be an anchor? Because if you go back in your own Akashic records, you'll realize, oh, you put that intention out and and you didn't give it a date of ending. You said, I want to be an anchor whenever I can be an anchor. Well, now you're an anchor, and now you're trying to figure out how to get out of it. And the only way you can get out of it is just laugh. and realize it's okay to be an anchor. It's like some people want to be an umpire, in a baseball game or especially a referee in a football game, and then realize they have to run up and down the field just like those refs do on the soccer field. They got to be able to run, and if they can't keep up, don't complain. So pick something that allows you to be yourself and maintain your light in a way that is feasible, easy, but also strengthening you from the inside out. As you know, there's this gateway approaching every year called the Lion's Gate. And it is a time that you might call a rebirthing effect. Just like people celebrate New Year's, right? They celebrate that one. But Sirius is another one that is like really serious to be involved in because it actually catapults you out. You remember the old movies, carnival movies, where you see the guy get shot out of the cannon and hopefully he lands into the net. Well, there was a lot that never hit the net. They actually shot past the net. They were like Evil Knievel on the motorcycle, who told you he broke every bone in his body. Yet, once he healed up, he was back on the bike and he was doing more and more daring events. Your life is like that sometimes. Very daring events. And sometimes you question yourself, why did I choose this? Why? You have to remember you chose it because you came to season the world with your unconditional love. That is one of your main reasons why you were here. Because many people around you, they don't know how to love themselves, let alone love their partner, their sibling, their aunt, their grandparent, the neighbor, the dog, the cat. They don't know how. They've forgotten. So your presence is here to strike a match and help them to remember. This is highly important now more than any other time on the planet. So, there are people who do something called laugh yoga. I, Mother Grace, learned it. And you can simply learn it too. You just go he, ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. And if you do that playfully without judging, you will find yourself going out of nowhere. Try this every morning. Kickstart your laughter every morning. That way, when you leave your residence and you go out into the world, you are bringing that extra light, that extra unconditional love that someone else is going to pick up on it, look you in the eye, and realize you're full of joy. And that's what they were looking for. Someone greeting them with joy, not with anger. Someone greeting them with unconditional love, not selfishness. Because there's enough of that on the planet, enough selfish people on the planet. Even the so-called person who's having a difficult time and chose a life to be a fireman, to be a policeman, if we can approach them with a little joy, it will remind them of the original reason as a little boy, a little girl, that they wanted to be a policeman, policewoman, fireman, fire person. They will begin to remember and it will kind of turn the dial back a little bit for them. And they will find themselves upon this path of, I want to be in service to my neighbors, to humanity. My mother's here. Grandma Charlotte is here. She said, you know what? She takes up a lot of things that I want to say. I gotta come up with something different. But I'm prepared. She says, sometimes you must be firmer with yourself than others. You are still you are adults on the planet, but you're still children in the galaxy. And of course, every other galaxy, every other planet is waiting for people on Earth to hurry up. They're like, oh my God, it's taking them so long. And you know what it is? It's their ego. Their ego is preventing them from getting online and opening up their heart and keeping the heart open. So often they do not remember to keep the heart open. We think we're supposed to protect the heart. You don't have to. The heart is its own brain, bigger than this brain, and it's huge. So I'm here to remind you, stay in your heart, not that physical heart, the chakra system of the heart. Stay there. That's your center. That's how you ground. Yes, you can take off your shoes and sandals and ground on the earth, but your heart is going like, I'm right here. I just need you to take a seat inside of me. This is the chamber. Take a seat and stay grounded and centered right here, and you'll see everything you need to see. You will learn whatever you are supposed to learn. You will remember whatever you need to remember. And above all else, pray over your food before you consume it, before you initially consume it. Go back into praying over your food. The beings of light said it in a different way, but they said it nonetheless. You have to be present, really present. The beings of light said to talk to the birds, talk to what you consume into your body. Because when you talk to it with great love, just like the Asian fellow had done. Isaro, I think his name is. He said, you speak a word into water. You speak a positive word over time, freeze it, and then put it on a microscope, and you see a perfect, sacred, geometrical shape. You speak a negative word over that water, into that water, you see a distorted image. So imagine when people are angry at other people, how distorted their thoughts and their feelings are going into that person's auric field, going into that person's mind, going into that person's body. But not only that person's body, in their own body. That's why we say, you've heard, try to be in a state of gratitude, go into forgiveness. You might think, well, I have to forgive the other person. You got to forgive yourself for having those kind of thoughts, those kind of energies. So it's important that when you practice forgiveness, you're not just practicing forgiveness, you are living the principle of forgiveness. That is what we must do. We must learn. Many ancient elders, when they used to beat their drums or burn the fire or do the sacred dances, they were designed to embody the spirit of that energy. Even those who were warriors, they were embodying the spirit of a great ancestral warrior because they wanted to win. However, there were many others that said, I'm not joining that war. I'm going over here. And the others who were on the other side of the fence, I'll meet you over there. Bring the picnic basket. Okay, I will. And we'll sit over here and we'll just send love to our tribes to get them to change the way that they're thinking, that they don't have to war with each other. Just share. That's all you got to do. Be present for each other. We're not here to be greedy. So I, Grandma Charlotte, are going to slide away. Hi everyone, I'm Balu. I've been waiting to speak. I asked Brother Francis, could I talk today? And he said, it's up to you. You're here. It's up to you. I'm Balu. I said before that I've walked the face of the earth for thousands of years, but I made one little error. I'm just like you. I've been on this planet a long time. I'm always just traveling. I love to travel. I love travel. This place called the globe is so beautiful. But I want to let you know that there are more gemstones that are coming up out of the earth. So more. More that have not been really discovered or named yet. They're just going to come. And those of you who channel will be one of the first around the world to give these new gems new names. There's a whole kingdom in there and a queendom in there. And they can't wait to come to the surface. They're moving around right now. You call it, your scientists call it, the planes are shifting. That's the gems moving around. That's what they do. They move around according to the ley lines, traveling through the earth. So we have me as Balu, I love selenite too. It is so welcoming. And Salina, who is selenite, may come back a little later and share something. I am so enamored with the fact that you all know there's so many beings here with this guy. We try to sneak through, and you'll go, we can see them. They're here. He said, one time I lived in what is called as the Hawaiian Islands, Maui. And my name is Balu, also means Pea, P-E-A, and Pea means bear. So if you happen to see me walking around, I do kind of stand up like a bear and I go side to side. And I like to go like this all the time. You can bring forth the spirit of bears if you are like this one. Try to get a stuffed bear. You got a little tiny stuffed bear over there on this bookshelf with a vest and a hat. It is time to let these children rock and roll. Because the children are the leaders of the world, If you let some real young, youthful, wild, laughing children descend on every Capitol building, people will go, what are these little ones doing here? We're just coming to share love. And if we can anoint everyone with love, we're going to do it. As Balu, I love light. I love the dream world. I love dream. I am mesmerized. This is how you travel from one world to another world, through the dream world. I was once an old shaman, and I taught that to go off into the dream world. You don't have to go to sleep. It's just think of the feeling that you get in the dream world and then sit still. Find some place to sit still and you can go right into it. You see, the mind is not just here. Your whole body becomes the mind. the housing of many thoughts. This is why you're taught about the chakras. Not only do you have 7 chakras, you got base of the skull, that's 8. You got above your head, that's 9, going up 10, going up 11, going up 12. There's even a 13th one sitting up there. And every time you elevate, this shaft of 7 comes down in your body, comes down in your body, comes down in your body, comes down into your body. So what is considered the 14th or the 15th or the 16th chakra, it's going to be embedded. It's going to be flying around inside your body. I'm getting hot. That's a sign that there's more coming. I, Balu, have a twin sister. And she is enamored with Erica Badu. She likes listening to her. She listens to her all the time. She looks for that music, and that's how she comes around. But she also loved many, many great singers and opera singers. She has studied here as a singer. I look at her and I say, "Are you going to sing tonight, sis?" No, no, I'm not going to sing. Not me. She says, I was really enjoying the singing that was going on in this group. And we want to tell you that you do not have to be perfect to sing, just sing. Many of you love to sing when you're showering, cooking, walking, humming. You're singing, just sing. How do you spell my name? Baahlu. We make it easy. Bahalu. Because it sounds like we're laughing. Bahalu. So, as Bahalu, the twin to Balu, we want you to study not only the chakras and those things that correspond to them, but we want you to study how sound creates movement for you. In your world, you call it dancing. So not only are you to sing, but you are to at some point dance. Dance creates movement. Now, we're not talking about stomping your feet because you do not need to disturb the ant villages underneath. They're going to go like, oh, what are you doing up there? Why are you stamping your feet? Don't you know we're down here? So don't do that. Just walk and move lightly on your feet. They will still feel the vibration just the same. But move lightly on your feet. We would ask that you do that. Now I want to blend with my twin for this moment. Your light is very, very important right now. We want you to sprinkle your light. Make it very bright where you dwell. Because others beyond the layers and realms of your earth that you call Gaia needs to see that light. They can see it, but they're asking to see more of that light. This also sends a signal out into the universe that you are assisting in Gaia to get ready. Get ready for what? More are coming. Balu and I love being in the earth. We're literally in the earth, walking around. Many, many, many beings are in the earth. Just like you can go, and I think you all might know this, that many cities have people living underneath around the subway systems. They're moving about and stuff. They're there. And then they know how to come out. You don't even know that they're coming out through abandoned locations and things. And they're on the earth and they're doing whatever they need to do. And they're gathering food and whatever they need to gather. And some of them have quote unquote jobs. And then they bring some of that stuff, clothing you needed, back in through the subway systems and further down. They know how to travel. They've been doing it their entire life. It is the same of soon coming back are the quote unquote hobos. Do you know hobos aren't bums? No, they're very knowledgeable people. Hobos can recognize medicinal plants and know how to prepare them, make them into salves, make them into teas. They get a bee sting, they know which one to shake clean off and rub it immediately into the skin, get rid of inflammation. They're coming back. There was a time when you didn't see them. They are coming back. And where are they? They're living in the earth too. They don't go too far. They're right in the cave. They're the only ones. They have a higher vibration now than their elders did 20, 30, 40 years ago. Their vibration is so strong right now that they can approach a bear, look the bear in the eye, and then the bear lays down with them. They do this all the time. Men and women called the hobos. They know the earth like they know the back of their hand. And they're able to communicate with all animals, right down to insects. They know how. So we just want you to realize that. And one day you will meet up with hobos, especially if you're out walking around in the wooded areas and on the trails. A couple of them out there walking around observing you. And they will set it up so that you meet them, so you can share a conversation for them. So we're going to slide to the left, slide to the right. We listen to music too, you know. We got our boots on the ground as well. I am so glad to be here. I am beloved Nefertiti. And I come with a color, a flame, and it's gold. And my beloved partner, Akhenaten, is carrying a blue flame. And the reason why we are carrying these flames, and he's allowing me, a pure gentleman, let me talk first, because I carry this gold flame to let you know how golden you are, how bright you are. Your level of intelligence is getting like a high tide is getting higher and higher. And as it gets higher, that means you're opening up to a greater realm of understanding and consciousness. So I want you to study magnetism in many forms, even if you have to get an old-fashioned magnets, one that has what feels like a North Pole to another South Pole. They come together, and then you flip them. You can't put them together. Says right now there's two magnets in the world that go like this. They can't be put together. Somebody's going to be brave enough with their joy and laughter come in and switch it. And next thing you know, and those who are in opposition, I don't want to be with them. I don't want to be with them. And it's going to be this dance going on. And then finally, people will go, okay, 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 okay. I can't fight them anymore. I must let them love me because that's what I'm truly lacking is love. That's why we see all this stuff. And I, Nefertiti, can tell you it was going on during our time too. People creating problems they didn't have to create between people because they were very, very unhappy. And they were trying to figure out, well, why do they have so much? Because they love everybody. They're always sharing. So whenever people aren't sharing and hoarding and hoarding and hoarding and hoarding, well, sooner or later, there's a passage that says, it may have taken you 40 years to hoard something and an hour to lose it. There's going to be some hands coming and they're going to be dismantling and sharing these things that they're hoarding. So I, Nefertiti, just want you to be and remain in the comfort of yourself. The more you can be yourself, the more pleasurable you will find your life to be. Yourself. There's many ways we can interpret that word. S, spirit. If you look at it, S, that's the shape of the Kundalini, the serpentine energy. And E is emitting energy, but it also has to do with memory. And L is your ability to stand tall and straight. And the F is like a key to unlock something. You're learning how to unlock yourself. We don't want you walking around anymore feeling tight. Unlock yourself. What are ways that you can unlock yourself? Go for a walk, ride your bike, swim, yoga, qigong, tai chi. It's there. Whatever you feel like doing. You might, we'll say to the gentleman here with other headset, he might be walking down the road and all of a sudden decides, I'm going to skip. He starts skipping down the road. Next thing you know, his body says, run. He's like, no, 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 I don't want to run right now. Run. Next thing you know, he's running. And then all of a sudden he stops. And he didn't have to run far. He probably ran about 20 steps. It was just sufficient to boost the energy up high, to boost his metabolism up higher, to release any inflammation in his body. See, our body knows more than this. The body has experienced many things. The body knows. If you, let's say, had what we call a horrendous fall and you twisted your knee many years ago, you come into an environment now and your body goes, let's not go over here. And you go, I want to go there. It looks so nice. And your body said, let's not go there. And then you are persistent up here. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go over there. And the body says, I have no choice. And one knee looks at the other knee. What are you gonna do? Let's lock it up. Oh, I don't know why I'm so stiff all of a sudden. I think I'll just sit down. And the two knees look at each other. We're successful. He didn't go over there. Why? He would have tripped on something and fell. So we remember the trillions of cells, even though they're new ones, every 6 months going through your body, they all pass the messages back and forth. They remember everything. We want you to remember all that you need to remember that helps you to elevate. That is very important. We want you to elevate and come back into being yourself. See, you know a lot more than you actually realize. We often say, and beloved Akhenaten and I taught it as well, we are extensions of the Creator. So you say, well, when am I going home? Creator says, I sent you out in the world. I'm going to pull you back and I'm sending you out again. This time I'm going to send you over to Lyra. I don't know. I didn't have a good experience at Lyra. Shh. It's being rebuilt just for you. Then you're going to go to Lyra and talk about, well, I don't want to leave here. I've been here for thousands of years. And I'm saying, no, I need you to go to Mars. I'm not going to Mars. Why are you sending me to Mars? Because you did your job at Lyra. Take whatever you learned from Lyra and Sirius and Orion and go to Mars now. Okay. Why are you sending me to Mars? And then you get to Mars and says, it's not that bad at all over here. Why was I resisting so much? And the creator says, stop watching them human movies about Mars. That's why. That's illusionary stuff. Don't watch that. So I and Nefertiti have delivered a great message to you. And I'm going to let he who walks with the blue flame come. And that is beloved Akhenaten. Yeah, yes. You know, many of you are your own ship. Many of you are also being prepared so that somewhere between the middle to the end of next year and the opening of 2027 all the way up into 2037, right in that time. Now, that unearthly time, that seems like a long time. And let me remind you, you are a galactic being. Time does not exist in your consciousness, which means you need to meet up with your galactic self. That is the extension of your higher self. If you stay in communication with your higher self, and this is what all of us beings are asking you to do, you will hear us and see us and experience us more often. It was told to you earlier this evening. It's a matter of shifting worlds. It is. So if you wake up, if you go to sleep tonight and say, I want to experience that 5D world, if you put that intention out, but what we want you to understand, use your words properly. Because you might say, I want to experience the 5D world, and you got some other stuff running around in your head that you didn't clear out. That's going to show up in the 5D world. You're going to get there and go, oh, it's so cluttered over here. And the beings are going to say, well, you didn't clear out your head, so you brought all that stuff here. Here's a broom. Here's a shovel. Here's a dustpan. And here's a garbage bag. Get to work. Make it clear because others are coming. We don't want anybody stumbling in here. We want them to land. Just like a Jackie Robinson hits the inside the park home run and he can slide into home base. We want people to slide in here and enjoy it. Just like a child going down that sliding thingamajig. We want you to be like that. So yes, I carry a blue flame with me. It's about order. It's about peace. It's about harmony. It's also about you being the best that you can be in any moment without judging yourself. There's so many scenarios going on at the same time. These worlds are no longer past and future. They're bleeding in right now, and you can step in and out of them at the same time. You are in control. You move as fast as you want to move and as slow as you want to move. If you just want to stand still in the environment and let it move around you, you can do that too. There's no judgment. But even though other beings will go, he's back. He thinks he's supposed to be moving real slow. He doesn't know the minute he steps on that galactic treadmill, gotta be going real fast. But to us on the outside, it looks like he or she is buzzing around. But to them, it's slow. Why? Because just it works all over. Whatever you are looking at is slow. Everything over here is moving fast. The minute you turn the head, it stops. Why? Because the consciousness of it knows that you are now observing it. So it's going to stop so that you can see it in its fullness. And then the minute you go over here and look, it's gone. That's why clouds do the same. You see a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful picture in the clouds. You get that thing called a phone out, and by the time you turn it on, take a picture, it's gone. And all the time before we were hinting, it's coming up. Keep it in your hand. Here it comes. But we don't want you to rely on the gadget anymore. You're taking a picture right here, right here, right here, right here. Your whole body is a device, you know. That's why when you're on Earth, you have what 108 minerals and vitamins and all that stuff you need in order to walk down there. In other places, you don't need all of it. You'll have a whole nother set that you can't even pronounce. How do I? What's on this chart? I only got 24 here. What happened to the other? It's a you don't need the other 84. You only need 24 here. But I want to bring extra. No, 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 no. Don't do that. There's enough for everybody, but everybody can't have it 25. You gotta have 24 here. That's all you need. And then you go to other locations and you realize, how come I feel so lightheaded? How come my body feels heavy, then it feels light again? That's because the nutrients are alive. The vitamins and minerals are alive. And they're walking around and communicating with you. Some of them ain't even in your body. They're just talking to you. Have the conversation, causing you to remember and reproduce the element inside. Many people have asked, but when is the new human coming? The new human is already here. He's in the so-called position of a column of light, just sitting there. And when it's right, like a butterfly, he'll come out. He's already here. But when is the collective, the new woman coming? She's already here. Soon as you calm down and stop looking so much, they will slide out of the light tube and move in accordance. It'll be one huge dance of light, the new being. Because the new being will have what? The memory there of who they were originally, being at one with the creative force in the universe that's throughout the entire galactic system. Here's something you may not be aware of. Every time the scientists of so-called NASA say, oh, there's a new solar thing being born, all of your higher selves have been painting, while you're asleep. The new solar system. How should we design it? I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Let's shift this thing. Oh, no, I know what. Put some diamonds in it. Oh, that's cool. Let's put some diamonds in it. And then they say, oh, the new solar system. Look at this. It's got scientists says there are diamonds in it. And all the other beings go, they're awakening. So we just want you to realize that the galaxy, Big Mama, Big Papa Galaxy says, tag, you're it. You're evolving. In every moment, you're evolving. So that is my message. Yes, there's someone new here. Very, very new. My name is Attila. In your world, I would be looked at as a unisex being. Attila. You can spell that however you choose. I don't care. I just give you the sound, okay? But I know some of you may want to spell it, so it's like, yes, Attila, yes. Also, Adila, but a T instead of an H there, Adilat. But it doesn't matter. It's how you feel when you hear the letterings form within you. I'm going to be there. So what is it that I do? Well, I'm definitely a connoisseur of gemstones. It was mentioned a little earlier that someone was coming back to talk about selenite. So Attila's other name is Salina. Salina. Sahleena. Salina. Also unisex vibration, meaning I am also yin, I'm also yang. I am personifying that image of the yin and the yang that you see. The dark paisley shape with the light dot, the light paisley shape with the dark dot. That's me. Back in the day, Taoism was the order, but now different. I am here to answer a call. We saying you've heard from Long ago, the ascended masters always talked about the clarion call, the call to light. Healing is the order of the day. The emotions must be healed, the mind, the thoughts must be healed, the physical body must be healed. It's going through a lot of tearing right now. We do not want any of you to experience being ripped from the womb of creation. No need to. So many of you may have this feeling of prayer. Nothing wrong with asking for prayer life. Reach out. Sometimes we just show up. Someone here needs prayer. We ask that you release it mentally to whoever that individual is, so that they do not feel that they are alone. Prayer. Prayer goes in verbiage, words, sometimes seeing light and color, other times being everything. My symbol is a rainbow, not just the 7 colors, but the 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, 7 to the 7th power. So we know that the one who's channeling is quieting down. He's not sweating any. He's still laughing though. He said this group is always pulling out more every time he shows up. He doesn't mind. He enjoys it. So we are done. Thank you, and we love you. The I am presence in you. Our grace is your grace.
Thank you so very much. We have some questions here. And Ray leads the group with the first question.
I don't really have a question so much as a comment. There were so many great nuggets to glean from all of the various presenters. I was just really glad to get the reminder that even the littlest things which happen to us, such as a mosquito or a fly or something like that, when it was mentioned that those can help us intercept thoughts which may not be beneficial for us. And another channeled entity said, well, you never know. Maybe that mosquito is giving you a chemical that your body may need, or a sting may put something in you to help you biologically or spiritually. But people react negatively to those things. It's easy to lose sight when expectations aren't met that this is happening for us. And I really appreciate that reminder today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, it surely was a lot of nuggets and a great deal of depth and threading from one thing to the other as well. So some of the notions that I uh, thought are impactful to me, magnetism. And that is right at the center of the force of love in the universe. And it certainly is right at the center of the force of healing. Uh, the notion of hoarding versus sharing, and the announcement that, don't worry, the inequalities that exist because of the hoarding of the many uh, will be, well, kind of dissolved. Let's put it in that domain. There'll be sharing. The sharing will come. There'll be the forces to make that happen are here already. Uh, Certainly a great deal, including nutrients are alive, and I guess not just that, but they have their own intelligence, and they're here to remind the body uh, and us to allow it, because what is really happening is that we don't allow the body to do what it knows how to do. We, in some sense, imprison the body to a set of rules that we have come to believe that they're the appropriate rules for whatever reason. Doesn't matter. But there's two calls in here that, the call to align with the planet and the message of us aligning to the planet, assisting the planet in particular, being a transmission that brings more cosmic beings into alignment with what's happening here. I thought that that was beautiful and powerful and a good way of realizing the impact that we can have by the power of our thoughts, just our thoughts. In other words, internally, we are creating the effect that we need to create in the universe that we live in. And so the power of a 95-year-old that's here on Earth still, and the power of most active, youngest mind, in that sense, it's all the same. The last thing was a clarion call on healing emotions. And I just want to ask a question, Brother Francis. I feel that emotions are really the fifth force of that we call the natural world. They are the fuel that creates, that is used to build that which we think that we're consciously trying to create. They permeate everything. And they have a lot of what I call invisible expressions that, of course, transcend the person that feels the emotions. Of course, we always feel them more intense than anybody else. That's why the path of hating and being hateful is most damaging of the self than of anybody else, although it may appear to be differently. Anyway, that's my comment and an open dialogue with you, Brother Francis, and anybody that can join in the discussion.
Well,
and thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sometimes when we can look at words and letters have hidden messages. So when we say emote, that's going out. What is being emoted? An ion. ION is at the end of that word, emotion. I-on. You, charged particle. We're constantly sipping on these emotions and these thoughts. Earlier, I mentioned it was said something about darts sticking on your auric field because other people can't control their emotions. And therefore, sometimes you got to go, oh, I didn't put my shield up a little stronger today. When we put the shield up, it's not about hiding. It's not allowing something that we know that's not supposed to be in your auric field linger in your auric field. If you let it linger too long, it seeps into the different layers or burns. Anger is acidic. So we don't need anger burning a hole gradually into your auric field, because then you might misinterpret it. Oh, look at this thought that's coming in here. And you're not supposed to do that. You might have to go, uh-oh, there's something here that doesn't belong here. In one of my books, I think it was in Nefertiti's book, she has something there called the four raiments of light, and it's the issuing of the violet or purple ray just inside the fascia, coming up through the skin on the outside, and you can make it as large as you want. And then she says, invoke a gold flame on top of that. But the most important flame is a black flame that acts like a vacuum cleaner, and it sucks up all the stuff that don't belong to you. And it allows you to see exactly what it is and kick it out. Because 9 times out of 10, it ain't your stuff. It belongs to someone else. It's the same thing as sometimes people want to come over and visit you, and you and Michelle might go, I don't know if they should be here today. And you think about it. Well, if we let them come over, they can't stay too long. And if you take that first impression that they ain't supposed to stay that long, they're not supposed to stay that long. You might meet them at the front door. Hey, let's go for a walk, because you can see all the stuff on the outside that they are not controlling. And if they are in your house, once they get comfortable, it's in your house. Now, after they leave, you got to clean your house energetically. So it's the same thing. We're not supposed to, as magnetic as we are and as beautiful as we are, and more vibrant that we become, we are not supposed to take on everybody. But we got our own stuff to work on. And there's still a lot of people on the planet that just want to deposit their garbage at your door and don't want to take it with them. They don't want to work on it. And then you got to pick up behind them, and you shouldn't have to. And that's why our auric field has to get even brighter sometimes, with the thought, intention, don't leave it here. I'm not picking up after you. I love you, but I can't pick up your stuff and carry it anymore.
And that's also important on what we actually allow into our environments.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you hear all of these people and they say, I threw away my TV. I no longer watch the news. And it's not that those things aren't important, is that they're not important in the overall scheme of my happiness or their happiness or what is important for them. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's okay to understand that there are disasters and calamities and dramas and all of this stuff, so you can recognize them, accept them, and send them energy if that's your calling. But as the aspects of love told me and reinforced, recognize, but do not participate. Because once you get that emotional attachment, you have to do something with it.
Yes. And once you become attached to it, you keep it going on.
Mhm.
Sometimes
Sure.
these things happen because Gaia has to release too. And all she wants us to do is just stand still, just anchor where you are, and just let me come through, and I'll be done just like that, and no one gets harmed. And then someone goes, "Oh, the earthquake is coming." Now, guy goes, "Oh boy, I got 100,000 people here who want to hold on. I just want them. Don't touch anything. Just stay home. Act like I'm not doing anything. It'll go through." And maybe I'll just put it out as a thought, and it's just a whirlwind for a moment. She even says people who chase hurricanes and tornadoes should not be out there chasing. Because after a while, a guy is going to go, "Oh, you don't want to go home?" What happened to Hal? I don't know. Last time I saw him, he was with his red truck chasing that tornado. Then you see Hal 30 years later. I don't know how I got here. House is a shambles. Then a bird comes by, go, "Ooh, butterfly." Well, 30 years ago, you were standing at 47th and Barron. Hey, you weren't supposed to be there.
Oh,
You were in the way. Needed to go. Needed to go.
thank you, Willow.
There's someone who had a question
Somebody has a question, please.
in the chat.
Well,
All right.
no, I really had I more, it was more my comment.
Oh, okay.
And I like, anger is like putting more breath into a balloon.
Okay.
Sooner or later, it's going to pop. Or like Seth says, somebody asked Seth a question in one of his classes about, hey, I really trust my wife, but she keeps going out with my girlfriend or whatever, and she keeps going out with the same person over and over again. Well, I trust her and I don't think anything will happen. And Seth said, opportunities are like doors on a submarine. Every time you put a new door in, it weakens the overall structure. And if
Mm,
you put enough doors in, it no longer functions in its original capacity and it will implode.
right.
And that's what people need to understand. And it's just what we've been talking about, right? About absorbing those energies when you have those situations and you keep having these interactions, things happen. It either builds up friction or it builds up attraction. And I absolutely loved the magnet example because that's really what's going to happen. It's just going to flip and all of a sudden, boom, we're like, bam.
Mhm.
And then we can all say, hey, we finally got here, we arrived. And now all of our real work starts trying to work this integration in.
Yeah, right.
Well, uh, conceptually, at least, concept of the magnet and magnetism, but we are a living magnet, and
Yes.
therefore the reversal of the force, in other words, from attraction to rejection, uh, is something that we need to learn how to exercise, because there are things that we're supposed to keep away from the field automatically.
Hmm.
Okay. Now you can look at that also from the perspective of, as you're becoming a little less hung up emotionally with things, you're becoming somewhat more able to be more transparent with whatever is happening. It's not happening to you. You start developing that. It's not me. That's not for me. Da da da. You could also see it that way. Uh, but that's conceptually what we're capable of doing. You know,
I like that, Luis. I've experienced that as kind of like, when you talk about the auric field, after a time, it doesn't matter what impacts it, because when you're in a particular place, it automatically transforms it to what it is that'll be nurturing to you as well as to the other individual. So it's very nice.
Yes.
yes.
I saw it in the chat, Melanie. It just have a one word answer. She asked, was it a message for her? And it was not even one word. It just says, stay in the light with your thoughts. Stay light, stay in the light. Don't let anybody pull you out of
You mentioned at some point something interesting. It's been said a number of times. I think Beams of Light also, and I touched it on a little bit, which is contribute to other people in the most positive way that you can. That little interaction that you're having. And I'm constantly reminded of the power of that. So, for example, today we went to a restaurant, got some food. Lines were yeah, pretty busy. And the people that were working there were really flustered. And I just acknowledged the person that was in front of me and gave her uh, some calm energy, uh, appreciation for what she was doing. And I said, I asked the question, how was your day so far? And she said, of course, oh, real heavy. And I said, well, I really sincerely hope that it becomes much lighter from here on down. Uh, and just that shifted that person. And what can I say? Besides the feeling I had that she felt much better, there was also the fact that as she dealt with our order, she was putting extra stuff on our order. So it was just telling me that she was actually very pleased with it. I love that sort of thing. Good night,
it.
Chuck.
Night, Chuck. Yeehaw. Another fun and exciting evening.
Yeah,
I
for
hope
sure.
I never learn how to resist the hybrid children. I would hate to miss out on that joyful connection because I have some other thing which I think misleadingly might be a more important.
I think that the hybrid children enjoy Brother Francis channeling quite a bit because there's a lot of joy. And I was thinking, are they riding along?
Well, they really perked up when he started talking about singing. I gotta tell you. And they were all over that, and they were like, "Yeah." And then he went to dancing, and they're like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." They were happy. And when you mentioned hobos, I actually, in way back when, I dressed up as a hobo for Halloween, and some people didn't know what I was. Now, we had train tracks that went in the back of our subdivision. So occasionally there would be one of these unkempt fellows who would come along, and the police would try to usher along. But what a supremely perfect role for interacting with humanity that would be because it's so unassuming. It's like the storyteller role, right?
Hmm.
You're allowed to come in, you share your things, and people have no idea of the energies and any other missions which may be part of that, whether you're human or not. I mean, nowadays, I would imagine it might be not quite as easy because it was easy to go from town to town when nobody in either town ever went to the either town, so nobody was going to
Right.
talk to you. I mean, what, until 1900, 80 to 90% of every human on the planet died within 7 miles of where they were born. They never
Mhm.
traveled outside of it. That's fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah, the
But
whole thing is very
hobos
interesting.
used the freight trains, that was their thing. But they were very accomplished people. I actually met one in Harlem back in the 1980s. I got such a lesson. He said, "Anybody have a question?" I stood up and says, "I thought hobos were bums." He took his jacket off. He had on a t-shirt and he turned his back. He said, "Anybody got a camera? This is our logo." And the logo was a circle, a tree, a hoe, an axe, a hammer, and there was one other item I don't remember. He says, "Oh, there was a sewing needle." He says, "Every hobo, man or woman, knows how to sew." We sew our own clothes. People throw away clothes. He says, "We just don't pick them out and just wear them. No, we go and we do work for somebody. Get a little money. Now we can go to a laundromat and clean those clothes." And that's what we do. He says, "Some of us work for cleaners, learning how to iron." And at the same time, the cleaner, the person who owned the cleaner would say, "Well, I need somebody to watch the store at night." So now we had a place to stay. We slept in the back. We sewed our clothes. We ironed our clothes. We rolled them up. We put them in our sacks. Off the next day. Some of us were great cooks. Go to a restaurant and allowed to stay in the back. And what we would do is cook food, and we would find many homeless people, and we would give them the cooked food. So the hobo was someone who was definitely an indigenous part of society. And yes, this fellow, his name was Dr. Moore. They call him a doctor. He wasn't on paper a doctor, but this man could walk you around Harlem, up in Manhattan, and show you all the plants and tell you what they're used for medicinally. He was like a library, but his grandmother was a midwife and his mother was an herbalist. And by the time he was 8, 9, 15 years of age, they told him, "Now you got to get out of the house and make yourself a living as a hobo. Bye bye." He's like, "What? Where am I going to go? Where?" Oh, you gotta go right down the corner. You ever see that encampment you keep passing by? They know you're coming. Make yourself comfortable and learn. And that's what he did.
Mm.
And he traveled, or he was from Texarkana, Arkansas. He traveled all over Arkansas. He got into Kansas. He went into Tennessee. He traveled DC, Philadelphia. And at some point that's how he got to be called a doctor, honorary doctorate degree from Temple University. A man
Wow.
that was loaded with this wisdom and can share this wisdom with the world.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
So, so I could see, even if they're not as a study, just the connection with nature and
Hmm.
heart-centeredness of their daily living.
Mhm.
Uh, it's contributing to raising the collective vibration quite a bit,
Yes.
even if they don't interact with normal people that much, you know.
Well, it also is a good lesson for us and for those who are observing humanity on acceptance. How
Hmm.
do we treat, I forgot which amazing thinker it was, which said that, you judge a society by the way they treat their least individuals.
Right.
The ones who can't take care of themselves, if they're allowed to survive and have a fulfilling life, then that's the best testament of being humanity and being that open-hearted being that we can be. Goes back to those who share are not happy.
Hmm.
They're actually keeping all of that within them because they don't want to share. And whether it was from lack or, beliefs that were drilled into their head or they picked up or whatever. But that was important. And I don't know about you, Brother Francis, but I'm constantly amazed that all of these channeled beings, while there are lots of similar stories, but I hear different stuff coming out of my mouth all the time. And I'm like, I couldn't think of all of these new categories all the time of stuff to talk about. Sometimes I get little flashes. Like today, I knew that this morning that the beings of light were going to talk about authenticity. Who is your authentic self? And that came up again tonight and with, part of your stuff too. But it's just,
Well,
and
I believe.
I never know what the hybrid children are going to say. Or even talk about. I'm just so open when I contact them, when I invite them in. And yeah, if they get too wordy, I just go ahead and channel them right off the bat instead of doing the beings of light first.
Mhm.
But it's all in it. But today it was weird because I invited them in and I got nothing. Crickets. I mean, it was like I was trying to look for something in a completely black room and I didn't know what I was looking for. It was like, wow, this is just my thoughts just they didn't even echo. They like went in and they just died or went into another atmosphere or something. And then when they came back, that's why they said, we talked to teachers, but they didn't tell us, or it's not like they didn't tell them because they're telepathic. So they knew that I was reaching out, but
Mhm.
the teacher didn't select any of them to answer was more the appropriate answer because
Right.
they all don't get to play, as they say. It,
Hmm.
so, it's I don't know if there's a reward system or something. I really don't care. But yeah, it was interesting to not because before I've done it and they didn't want to channel or whatever. It wasn't the right time. They were all doing something as a group and their teachers were not going to let them interrupt or whatever it was. But today was just different. It was like speaking in the energy just died immediately after my thoughts left.
Hmm.
Like it entered a sound room and people were waiting on the other side to hear what it said and they weren't getting anything.
You know what I find interesting about this is that all of the channelers on Earth are anchoring so much energy and so much light that this meeting of the greater mind with the lesser mind on earth, so to speak, or our mind with the bigger source of beings of light, it's coming fast. I don't know about you all, but this morning I woke up like, who's in my apartment? And I heard,
Well,
I'm the twin, I'm the twin, I'm the twin. I said, oh, I said,
Wow.
Paul, are you bringing people into my apartment? I said, yes, my twin sister. She was like, oh.
And
I
that
said,
was cool.
so be it.
Yeah, and she spelt her name
Yes, yes.
because she's got a ha in there. So we know
Hmm.
she's laughing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm someone who needs to laugh. I love to laugh, so the more I can laugh. Because we all have, so-called problems, and I got a major what going on, and she's coming in here like, ha 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 ha. If you just laugh, the answer will come faster.
And Attila came through, which was a new
Yes,
being for you.
yes,
The
amazing.
symbol was a rainbow, 7 to
Mhm.
the 7th power.
Yes, amazing.
Colorful individual, I would say.
I would say, yeah,
And it's, I'm so glad, and I don't know if you guys ever think about this, but how much more we just consciously accept is out there. All of us know that when we see something, we're only seeing part of what can be seen.
right.
Whereas other people, they just see what they see. They have no idea what they don't see. And we know there's so much more that we will never experience in this form that is happening right here, right now, that it helps us to grow into those spaces, I will say.
Hmm. Well, Akhenaten said in his book that I channeled, there's a chapter in there. He says, we are the open door. So we are this doorway, and everything is coming through to see and express and explore. And we have to um, allow it to happen because we graduate that way. We can elevate. And all that means is our memory increases and we expand more. That's why in one of the other channelings, I'm not sure which one said it. He says, you're not this little being walking around on the earth. Imagine the scale between you and an ant. An ant sees how big you are. You go to the great central sun like your human form, and a being always going to go like, oh, almost stepped on you, Brother Francis.
Yeah.
You forgot to come a little bigger. I'm gonna put you over here on the shelf. Mind the ceiling and expand. As soon as I see you expanding, I'm gonna put you back on the ground and you'll be big again.
And
Brother Francis, without sounding a little too into the 3D-ness of things, the
Hmm.
expression that size doesn't matter comes into the picture really quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
It is the truth. It's consciousness occupies whatever, and the
Hmm.
concept of size or space, that's
Hmm.
our stuff.
Hmm.
Yep. And I have recently, and just in the past several months, and thank you so much for reinforcing that, became aware of not only the importance, but how much of it is being done on the anchoring of that energy. It's like, every person who is a channeler, who is open about it, and not closed off and denying their gifts or not sharing them, is like a planting of a tomato plant, I mean, a strawberry plant. And if you know how they grow, they start here and they get to a certain point and they're like, we're going to send out tendrils and we're going to expand our reach. And every person who channels anchors that energy so that that energy can come down and spread out like that. That's how I see it. And we all know we have people in our experience, everyone here who has somebody who has just recently learned how to channel or who just recently became interested. And those are those little substations of energy that the higher realms are reaching out and increasing that connection because it's the vibratory rate where it can grow.
Yeah. I tell
It's
you, this is
amazing.
an amazing journey right now,
It is amazing.
an experience. And I want to thank Louis Darnell
Ah,
for,
how you doing,
for
my friend?
contacting me and go, come here. You need it.
Come
What
here, Brother Francis.
he was
Brother
taking care of
Francis, the
us.
last time I saw you, I think it was in 2016 in person. I think it was, 2016. No, wait a minute.
No,
2019. I saw you in 2019, just before, in May of 2019. That was the last time I saw you.
yeah,
Yeah, in person.
amazing.
Before
And
COVID, huh?
yeah, it
Yeah.
was before COVID. It was a trip that I did to New Mexico. I had too many friends and too many things that so we spent it. Michelle and I went. We spent it like 8 or 9 days there
We,
in that area. Uh, and so it was. Then COVID came. We had plans for 2020, 2021. We had trips to different parts of the country and canceled.
we're talking about best possible outcomes and your greatest excitement. What a trip to have our entire high vibe channeling group aboard the same alien craft at the same time. I'm just throwing it out there, folks.
Sure.
So if you want to ride on that alien craft, then you know where to go if you want to hook up with beings like us.
Look, I used to get teased by Akhenaten. I used to say, "Oh, that's a beautiful throne on the ship. Could I go over there?" Brother Francis, we got work to do right now. Man, you promised me. You keep promising me that I can sit over there and admire the dashboard and the gemstones.
Yeah,
He
that
said,
was
"No, no,
another
no,
thing.
let's go over
Akhenaten
here."
saying that
Um,
you are your own ship. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
and while Brother Francis is here, I'm going to take advantage of him.
Uh-oh.
I was looking for something. So in a previous life,
Uh-huh.
I used to do contracts and all kinds of stuff. And somebody I know needed a lease, and he's trying to rent out apartments and blah blah blah. And he was using something that I didn't consider appropriate. So since that was my professional life, I offered to do that. Well, I had to pull something off of an old computer, and I ended up pulling out stuff that I didn't need. But one of them is this big box. Yes, it's Victoria, but it has secret. And I'm like, I saw that and it caught my eye, and I'm like, secret. And I opened it up, and it had stuff in there that I didn't remember. And one of the things was a box of what I think may be costume jewelry, but there's also like some white gold
Mm-hmm.
and other things in this. And I was wondering if you could just give me an energetic hit and tell me something else that may be pertinent about this wonderful gift that I was given today.
There are many divining tools in there. When you pulled out the white gold ring, you can attach a string that should be about between 12 and 16 inches long, and you can use that as a pendulum. That's one of the things that you could use it for. Um, if there you go, there's a chain.
It was
Mhm.
also in this.
Yeah, find a way to put it together. It can function as a pendulum for you.
Do you have any recollection of those items that are there?
The A lot of this is what was left of my dad's estate
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's
after
good.
um other individuals had come and, let's say, grabbed everything they thought that they might like. And because a lot of it's like,
They probably grabbed what they thought was
Valuable.
valuable in
well,
some
yeah,
other sense, but
but
they left you the goodies,
it looks like it's a
Ray.
bunch of costume jewelry, but there's a ring that has a
Hmm.
little opal in it, but it's
Hmm.
old enough that it's probably not a synthetic opal. But in other little things, I don't know if that's a real pearl or not. I would doubt it based on the thinness of the casing, but I'm not a jeweler. I don't know. But there's all kind like that is definitely one of the best things that was in there.
I think the hybrid children put that
And
in there for you.
Yeah.
and a bunch of fortunes. I found a fortune that my
Yeah.
dad had written on. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is my ex-wife. She wrote on here. She got a fortune, said you and your wife will be happy in your life together. And she wrote, because we're in love and love endures. But it
Of
was
course.
just I just knew there was a significance, and thank you very much for adding to that a little bit of info.
It's a good find for you because it's a time capsule that it was supposed to be
Well, yeah,
open
and
at the
yeah, and I'm just gonna go. I know somebody who I've known for years and years who is owner of a pawn shop, and I can just go in there and say, "Hey, what is some of this stuff? Is any of the, like this one's kind of cool,
Hmm.
I get that it's all authentic, meaning real stones.
Yeah.
but it's
So
like
even
there,
even that little pearl, it's an authentic pearl,
yeah,
it
but
may not be the
there's no detail on the settings or anything like that. It's like you took a nice stone and then you put it in a setting that you got at Ben Franklin. But
well, that's the kind of thing that somebody that it's into jewelry for energetic reasons would do. They don't need the,
well,
fanciful thing.
wow, my first bling.
Look at that. That changed your personality already.
Yeah.
You see how the effect is immediate?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's immediate. I don't like it. No, it's one of those prior life issues of having been hung several times.
Ray, whatever you do not go near a MRI machine, the big magnet,
Ah,
wearing any of that,
yeah.
it
But
gets you
then
in trouble.
all of a sudden the lights go out.
No, I understand now that I have in previous Earth lives I've been hung several times. So when I go to put a tie on or somebody puts that top button on, I will fight you until one of us effing bleeds. Get off
Mm.
my neck. No, I need room to breathe. I'm not doing that. Now I got goosebumps all over me for figuring that one out.
Sure.
Different than the hybrids, but it's so cool because you get different responses. So you know that it's different entities, energies, beings, whatever, but you don't always get to know who, what, when. Like it was so weird when the beings of light talked about the bird thing
Yeah. You weren't
because
expecting that.
it was
Yeah.
a being or energy. I can't even say being, which was not involved in Earth, but was curious about Earth. And because our group was open, that they chose to utilize birds as an additional means of localized perception, I will say. And that they let everyone know because it was not only a way to see how they would react when they met a bird, but also in a humorous fashion to have all of these people looking for birds and wondering, is this one looking at me?
Yeah.
They all
Now,
are.
Ray,
It's all
I don't,
you. They have
I
to look
didn't
at you.
need, I did not need that incentive. I
I
already have
know.
that in my life.
There you go. Yeah.
It's going stronger and stronger. That's for sure.
Yep. People say wing and a prayer. Luis says, hey, I got you covered on both. We're good. I got the wing and I got the prayer.
Yeah. So we welcome tonight Melanie Holm.
Yes.
I hope that you got some good stuff out of this here tonight. Uh,
And she's a nice fan of Brother Francis and Clear Blue Radiance.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's all I have myself for tonight. But,
Yep. Yeah,
what do
my
we have? What do
she's
we have? What
starting
do we have?
fade and my
Oh
dog
yeah.
needs to go out.
Okay,
She's
you got
already
you got
told.
information there. Rub the pearl against your tooth. It is gritty against your tooth. It is real if it does that, you know. But
Cool.
custom jewelry is wonderful too. So, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to but and Melanie, whatever works best for you, screw the camera. It's whatever's best for you. None of us here actually care. And you can, use an avatar or whatever if you want. Whatever works
Or
for you.
whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
And you're always welcome to speak at it, when we have questions, you put yourself in the chat and call upon you and you just speak, you don't have to be shown in any camera or anything like that.
And I did copy that message to Melanie, so I will check that out. But thank you.
Sure.
Yep,
Yeah.
this is one of the few groups I've ever been in where when people say, "Hey, I can't come, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Why are you so sorry? We're just going to be happy that you're being the best you can be no matter where you are."
Mhm.
And there's no, you know, recriminations about that. How's that for a good word for the day? And your cat popped out his head when I said that. That was cool. Like, what? What's that word? Yeah. The inside the park. For some reason today, I'm in the shower and I'm thinking about Bob Watson scored baseball's 1 millionth run.
Mm.
Mm.
But Dave Concepcion knew that the next run that scored in baseball was going to be the 1 millionth run. And he hit a home run. And it went over the fence, but he ran the bases as fast as he could to try to get that title of the one who scored the 1 millionth run and finished just slightly behind Bob Watson. And I
Wow.
was thinking that he ran like he had an inside the park home run.
Mm.
And then it came through tonight, and I'm like, oh, I love my life. I love this stuff. I was talking with somebody today, and they're like, what about synchronicities? And I'm like, they happen to me all day, every day. And they're like, really? Because to them, they were kind of like spooky. I'm like, what's spooky about a synchronicity? But I that was me overstepping my boundaries instead of just accepting that that was the truth of that person because it was so foreign to me that I had problems accepting it on the basis of what it was, which another lesson for me. But thank you all.
Thank you.
Love you
Thanks to you,
all.
Ray. Thank
And
you for the channeling. Thank you for all you do. Thank you to
always a
Brother
pleasure.
Francis, as always, so
Yes.
grateful and, beautiful. And Christiana in Europe. You're
And
such a beautiful being.
yes.
And
And Melanie
your
coming in
your
for
sharing
us.
today was phenomenal. Melanie, glad to have you here today. Hope that again that you got something really good out of it. I'm sure you did. I think
From
so.
Australia.
Oh my God, that's good. Where in Australia, if I may ask?
Yep. Happy Monday.
Melbourne.
Oh, Melbourne. Yeah, beautiful.
Yep. where
Not a
Chandler
Sydney
Soraya
girl.
is, where Ash O'Donnell is.
yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Anyway,
All
bye-bye.
right. See you Thursday.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.